Okay, this is a cool video. I love doing the sneak peeks, and I've got a monster video provided by our friends at Mini GT. These boxes don't look like your normal Mini GT boxes. That's because they are prototype samples, obviously not for sale. These were sent to me to show to you. They've been showing these off in certain places. I have no idea what's made it to Instagram or social media and what hasn't, but what I do know is that there's a lot of really, really cool stuff coming from Mini GT. I'm going to show them, I'm going to pack them up, and I'm going to send them back to Mini GT so they can show them elsewhere and continue to develop them. Some of them are ready to be released, others are incredibly early. In fact, these four right here, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on. I'll give you a little bit of a taste, a little bit of a tease of these four beauties in the back. But I'm going to go in more in depth on these four with Glenn Chow himself, the owner of Mini GT and TSM model. He and I actually did an interview. I'm actually going to start a new interview series. I'm moving it from Instagram to YouTube, where we can get a little bit more in depth, show some close-ups and models, and Glenn is going to be my first guest. And so in a few days, we're going to talk about some of the sneak peeks that I've done here, but we're going to get more in depth on where the brand is really going, some of the models, some of the direction, everything else. Glenn was cool to talk to, and he teases a few things. It's pretty exciting. So stay tuned for that. I'll post it to the YouTube channel soon. All right, let's get right to it. I'm just going to go one by one, put the cars on top. We're just going to walk through them. I'm just going to say, aren't these cool? And you can say the same thing. We're going to start with what's in the back. There's a couple of interesting, this is the Porsche Taycan. You've already seen this model before, but you haven't seen any of these colors. What I have mostly are new castings, but there are some new models. This is a special collaboration that was done with Naraya, I hope I'm saying that right, in, I believe, Indonesia. And this was part of the batch that was sent to me, and I just wanted to show this one off to you guys just quickly so you guys can see it. But there's some other things. Now, this one, we'll get into depth on the interview, but I wanted to show this too, and this is kind of cool. In fact, there's nothing to show with packaging with the exception of this thing. This is the 1954 Lincoln Capri. Now, this was a special, you notice there's no Mini GT badging on this. This was a special model made for the owner of this car. But the reason I'm showing this to you, and it's not going to be made available to the general public, but a reason I wanted to show it to you is because the casting is fantastic. And if Mini GT is going to put all of the time and effort and money into developing a classic American car casting, you can bet that A, you're going to see this actual casting in their standard releases soon, and B, Mini GT is all about direction. They're not just going to throw some random car out there. If you see a classic American sedan in a racing livery, notice how like the stickers look like they put one on top of the other, you're going to see others as well. Mini GT, if they're going to do a racing series, you're going to see several cars. They don't want to do just one-offs. They want to do entire series, and that is very, very cool to see. So you American car enthusiasts, get ready. There's going to be some cool stuff coming. But that's a taste. That's the only taste of that I have from this video. Let's get into what we know with Mini GT. How about supercars? Should we just start off with the bang? Let's go with the Bugatti. Now, it's trying to pronounce these cars. We've seen the Bugatti Vision from Mini GT, and we're now going to see a major influx of Bugattis in the coming months. This one, the Centodici, I don't know. You guys are going to tell me, and please correct me. Tell me how to pronounce it in the comments, but this is one based, I don't know, do you say when you're a Bugatti fan, how many of you are Bugatti owners? I don't know. But hopefully all of you, but I don't think so, probably just toys like me. You can see that this thing is, loosely based on the Chiron, and I think it's very, very cool. Love it in white. Notice with Mini GT, always to scale. Details, including the wheels, have to be exact. That's a really important part. They put a lot of detail into the spoilers, the side mirrors, everything. This is an incredibly cool replica. We are so used to hypercars and supercars from Mini GT, and that will continue. I'll get to, well, you know what? Let's just knock out Bugatti right now. If we're just going to get to it, we're going to get to it. This is the one that I think I was most excited about seeing. I've seen the pictures because it's been teased by Mini GT, but the Chiron Super Sport is incredible. This one has a longer rear than the standard Chiron, and this one, bring it up close so you can kind of see, you can see the carbon fiber detailing on this car before I put it on the turntable. Notice how amazing that is. And the cool thing, I don't know if you can, here, I'll put it on the microphone. Can you hear that? It's totally textured. So it's not just like some decal or something like that. It's an amazing model. This is one that, I mean, whet my appetite to have it in hand, but it's going back to them. I cannot wait. This will be one of my all-timers from Mini GT. Not only because the car is cool. I'm not a huge hypercar guy, but there's just something about Bugattis, and this Chiron is amazing. And I really like just the way this one has been detailed. I like the long rear on it. Has kind of that Speedtail vibe to it. And then just the finish with the carbon fiber is insane. But we're not done with Bugatti. There's one other one that is totally early in its development. Well, it's getting there. I'll show you what, you can see the notes there. The Bugatti Divo. We've seen a Divo from Matchbox. Here is an early prototype. It's not the 3D print like we see in the very background. This one is done. There still might be some tweaks, but you can see this is the Bugatti Divo in its raw metal form. You can see there's some black trim that's been done here, but you're going to get basically a sense of the casting itself without the detail. Glenn does talk about this model. He talks about the headlights in particular with this one and how they had to do it. Just because of the unique features of the Divo, but I think that thing is fantastic. I think we're done. I'll leave a couple of hypercars as we go, but here's another one that I think, as we just keep going, that we have, I think a lot has been teased, and this one is about ready to hit, so actually we'll see this very, very soon. This is the BMW M4 GT3. We're seeing more and more GT3 models coming from Mini GT. Yeah, when they do it right. So the detailing, the wheels, the spoiler, everything is there. Of course, this one in the M Racing colors is fantastic. Love the black rims. And it's got that new signature, just monster grille on the BMW. Still trying to figure out if I like it or not. I'll get there. I always do. I got there on the C8 Corvette. And I'll get there on the grille of this BMW. You guys can tell me what you think of the grille. But this GT3 is fantastic. So there's some of the racing cars. Do I have another racer? Yeah, another one. This is actually an existing casting that we've seen before. We're going to see more versions of it. It's the Lancia Delta HF Evoluzioni. This is the 1992 number 11 turbofan on the front wheel. So there's one of the details that you won't see, or that you haven't seen on previous versions. So that's one thing that, we've seen this Martini deco done. And again, with Mini GT, it's about series. So you see one with Martini, you're going to see two, you're going to see three. We've seen that with the Le Mans 4 GTs, everything else. And I like this. Some of you might say, I just need one with the Martini deco. That's fine. Others of you will say, I want the fleet. And that's how Mini GT thinks. I'm going to give you the fleet. We've seen that with the Kaido House cars. You're going to get the casting, then you're going to get how June sees everything together. And I think that's really cool. That's how they think. Speaking of, let's see, what else am I going to go for? Should we just do that one? Another one. Another launch. Stratos, right? So this one is more in a stock version. I wonder if we'll see racing cars. Just what you've seen forever from this one is the red with the gold rims. And I hope I don't harp on this too much. I probably do. But it's important to me that people understand kind of what they're doing. Like, if you see this, it means you're going to see others, right? There's nothing about like, hey, I think the Lancia Stratos is a cool car, let's just make one. It's like, okay, what direction are we going in? If we're going to go this classic route, we'll go with this stuff. If we're going to go racing route, we'll go with this stuff. If we're going to do this one, then we have to do this one. So it's like, not only is seeing that Stratos cool because you're seeing a Stratos, but it also means you're seeing other stuff coming. Does that make sense? Classic, new, everything else. And so if we're going classic, why don't we go right to the very new? This has been already teased before. In fact, the version I have is too early because Mini GT showed the completed version of the brand new Z. This is just a brushed metal raw version, but at least if I put it on the turntable, you can get a sense of what this casting is about. It's going to debut in yellow with the gold rims. This one obviously is raw, and with no detailing, but you can see the headlight pieces, you can see the grille, you can see the silhouette. This Z is going to become a diecast favorite. There's no doubt about it. We've seen Hot Wheels do one. We're going to see other companies do it. We've even seen Matchbox do it. Makes a ton of sense for them to do it. And now we see Mini GT's version, and I'll be looking forward to showing the completed version of the Z. Okay, where should we go? Should we just go Porsche? Because I've got quite a few of them. Yeah, let's go Porsche. And that's not a Porsche engine that just passed by, right? RUF RUF. The Para 64 made a lot of waves last year. Mini GT was also doing it themselves. So here is their version of it's the CTR, right? The anniversary edition in yellow, which looks really good. The RUF Porsche, I mean, is it even a RUF? I mean, it's even a Porsche. I think it's the RUF, right? The RUF. You guys will tell me how to pronounce that. It's so funny how I type and type and type and never pronounce. But here it is in front of me, and I've got to show it. And it's a very, very highly detailed model that I think you guys will like. Speaking of, there is another one as well. How about the CTR 1987 in black? Got to show off the details here. You can see those rims. You can see it's got the same silhouette, wide, a little bit wide, same whale tail on this thing. It is a fantastic car. So you're going to see older and newer. Again, here we go again. You see one, you're going to see many. Not just colors, right? Cars. And so I think that one is fantastic. Very much worth checking out. But we're not done with Porsche. I've still got a couple to show. Which one should I go with? I was so happy to see them release the Targa. We've got a couple of more modern Porsches. So why don't we go with the 911 in shark blue? So here we're seeing that new spoiler, that new Porsche spoiler, detailed with the black. Obviously, it's got the black legs, but the blue spoiler, and then you've got the rims, you've got the carbon fiber roof. What's to say about this? It just looks like you're looking like this at a brand new 911. I'd love to be driving this car. Instead, I'm showing it to you in my backyard. No complaints. We're not done. We're not done at all. There's also the touring 911 in gray metallic. I love a 911 without a spoiler. Now, I can't remember if we've seen, we've gotten so many Porsches from Mini GT. I don't know if this casting has been released in another color, but I do like this one in the gray metallic with the chrome rims. Standard sounds boring, but like kind of how you see them, and I like that. Again, stock, souped up, racing. Okay, how many spaces do we have? We still have 5 more to go. We've seen a couple of Bentleys from Mini GT. How about this one? Bentley, is it the Mulliner? It's in yellow flame. This is the convertible. Again, when you're doing a convertible, when you're doing a convertible, you got to show a lot of details in the interior. They do that. It's very, very well done. I don't know what I think of the new Bentleys. I'll tell you what I do think of the Mini GT. It's an excellent replica of this Bentley. That probably seems like a lack of excitement, but I think it's cool. It's cool. Let's go Lamborghini. This is kind of cool. We'll show one and then the other. First off, we've seen these Liberty Walk Lamborghinis, right? Is that what this is? Pertimina. It's on the spoiler. This one I don't have the notes on, so I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I'm going to show it to you. Done in a racing style. This is the Huracan, right? Again, I don't know if we've seen this casting before, but, again, with some of the details, they'll change it up if they have to. And the other one, which I think is kind of cool, that I don't know if we've seen before, is this like a pace car? Yeah. How about a Huracan pace car? which I think is fantastic. Done in Italian colors, I think for a specific race. I don't know. Let's see. Welcome to... It says welcome to Italy. I can see that part of it. That looks really, really good. Love that they did a pace car. And then two more. One, we've seen a lot of companies. I don't know if this has been teased before. I think it has. I'm pretty sure it has. But why not just see how perfect a replica of the Nissan Skyline R34 GTR. We've seen a lot of these magic blue cars coming from all kinds of companies, but again, I've said again too much today. Apologize, rewind a couple, take some of those agains out, and we'll say, here's the GTR, the R34, done in a beautiful replica of a car we are all very familiar with. Us 164 nerds, we know it, we like it. This is a great version that rolls really well. If you're hearing that kind of back and forth, it's because this table does that. But that's a nice, smooth, rolling R34. And we'll finish off, why not, with a Pagani. There's your notes. I love this thing. It's got such an old school look to it, even though I don't know what it was meant to be. I think it's just all about speed. But look at this thing. I just love, it's almost like a Pagani mated with like a 1950s sports car, and I just, I know it's all about speed, and wind, but I don't know. It's all the looks, I just think are just so cool on this one. Notice little details. I'll put it up close, like above those seats, that intake there. Details on the interior are so cool too. Just something special. There you go. Tell me what you think. Fantastic, right? This is all stuff that we're going to see from in the coming days to the coming months, maybe to the coming years, all within development. Stay tuned. Within a few days, I will drop my interview with Glenn. You'll get a lot more insights on Mini GT. It's such an exciting brand. I think that. I hear from so many of you that think that as well. And one thing I love about it is they're forthcoming. They will talk. If something didn't work, they'll tell you. And sometimes that disappoints us because, like, hey, where did that model go or anything? But Glenn and the crew at Mini GT are honest, forthcoming, and say, hey, you know what? It's going to take us a little longer because we got to get this right. Or we're going to pull this model because we got to get this right. We have standards. You have standards. And so that's how we're going to do it. I love that they do that. I love that they talk about it. Wait till you hear what Glenn has to say. It's pretty cool. Thanks, everybody. Bye.